It's a glorious Monday. Woo! I'm so excited. I'm so excited on a Monday. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's get it popping, man. We got a big show today. I'm not kidding, you know? Sometimes I kid around, sometimes I joke, but not today. We have quite the show. We actually have quite the week, too. A lot to get into. Perhaps it's best we begin. Welcome back to the Den of Nerds. I am Josh, and we have a fantastic show for you today. It's packed. We're packed to the gills here. So much going on. It's actually kind of crazy. It's actually kind of crazy. So we must discuss. First off, Thunderbolts. We have the week 3, week 4, the most recent updates on the Thunderbolts numbers. They're not great, and yet I want to discuss this because, you know, some people reached out to me and they were like, dude, what are you talking about? You're talking so much crap on Thunderbolts. Everybody in Hollywood thinks it's a big hit. So we're going to explain that. Am I getting this wrong? Is there some way that you could spin this to make it look good? Or is everybody in Hollywood just absolutely goddamn ridiculous? We're going to break it down. We'll get into it. Whether or not Doomsday is delayed, it is still filming right now. And there are actually some really interesting leaks and reveals about what they are currently doing with Doomsday. This involves where the cast and crew is going to film. This involves another location where they are building sets, something to do with the 1960s house, something to do with a spaceship. And then we must talk about rumors that the Void is going to play a big role in Doomsday as well. So like Doomsday, kind of weird, you know, despite being delayed, they're doing it. They're still doing it, like right freaking now. Kind of mind-blowing to me. So I want to break that down. And we will get into all of that. We have to talk about the Fantastic Four trailer that's going to drop tonight. What? Fantastic Four trailer dropping tonight? Yeah, we'll break it down. We also have news that Superman and DC, the DCU, are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con this July. That's actually huge. I think this could potentially... I'm just going to say it. I think this could really potentially pivot to a place where DC and the DCU takes over the Marvel conversation. I want to get into why. A lot of people can't believe it, but depending on what they talk about, depending on what they show at San Diego Comic-Con this summer, it could be the age of DC. We're not even done, guys, because there's Star Wars news. In fact, we'll probably talk about that relatively early in today's show. News and updates from scoopers and insiders about what the plan is for the Mando-Verse, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, Mandalorian season 4, or maybe no other seasons, maybe more movies. Lots of crazy shit going on with regards to Star Wars and all of that. It's pretty nuts. We'll get into that. We have updates. It's like I'm getting tired and I'm sweating just doing the intro. That's how much news we have today. But we have news about Ryan Gosling potentially being the Ghost Rider of the MCU and him coming into the MCU during Doomsday. What the hell is happening with that? We'll explain that. We have updates about Nova. The Nova show, maybe the Nova movie, and some really interesting insights into what Marvel Studios is thinking for the next saga. You know, the saga beyond Secret Wars. So we have to talk about that. And then finally, we will discuss crazy reveals about the original version of the Madam Web movie. And look, we dog on Sony quite a bit over here, and I think they deserve it. But the reality of this story is wild because Tom Holland's Spider-Man was going to be a part of Madam Web. And we got some really interesting ways that was revealed, and other insiders kind of chiming in to explain what some of these leaks and reveals were with regards to all of that. So it's a jam-packed fucking show. Oh my God, so much to get into today. Now, before we get any further, I do want to discuss show notes. This is a weird week. It's going to be a strange week for me, strange week for the channel, strange week for you guys over here. I'm out of town this week, okay? I'm NDA'd out of my mind, and I'll be out of town tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Kind of awkward happening right in the middle of the week. But I was working a lot yesterday, and I've been working, or I will be working a lot today, to make sure that you guys have content, that we have stuff for you ready to go. So let me kind of explain the way this is going to break down. Tonight, there will be the trailer for the Fantastic Four, the new one. I will probably do a breakdown video for that, and that will probably release on the main channel early tomorrow sometime. And then, right before I fly out tomorrow, I will record a long-form substitute for the stream, which will be basically breaking down the Fantastic Four trailer. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. So technically tomorrow, you'll get a main channel vid. That's a breakdown. And then you'll also get a long-form version of that breakdown, and maybe I'll throw a couple other stories in there too, like a version of tomorrow's stream that'll be pre-recorded. I'm also going to try, and I can't believe, why am I sweating so bad? This is crazy. The news is so hot that it has me sweating. I might have to remove some articles of clothing. Anyway, so the way it should work is we'll obviously have the show right now. There's a big video I'm dropping later today about rumors about Magneto and Wanda. It's absolutely insane. Actually, the most excited I've been about a video in a while. So check that out later today. And then tomorrow, very early on, you'll probably get a video breakdown of the Fantastic Four, and then you'll get a long-form version of that for tomorrow's show. I'm hoping that early or later today, I can record the Warhammer 40K explanation. I've been telling you guys for a while that I want to do a stream where I try to explain all of Warhammer during a stream. Well, I think that actually will fit very well for while I'm gone. So I want to do that now as sort of just like a placeholder stream. So that'll probably drop on Wednesday. And then Thursday, you probably will be without a stream. So that's kind of how that works. I'm not even sure when I get back on Thursday, to be honest with you. I've only looked at the itinerary for tomorrow and Wednesday. And Wednesday, I'm like with doing the thing. I can't really talk about it until Sunday or Monday. And what I'll say is this. I will be talking about the trip that I'm going on this week, next week, and probably mostly on Monday's stream. So as far as I understand it, the embargo for what I'm doing will lift on Sunday, and I might make a video about it. It just kind of depends. But either way, we'll talk about it on stream on Monday, and I think that's going to be really cool and really dope. So that's the news. That's the show notes, I guess, not the news. Holy shit. This is going so well. So yeah, that's kind of it. Let me know if you have any questions about it. But like I said, basically I'm just trying to have some content banked for you guys. A couple of videos in the tank, and a couple of streams banked, and then I'll be back. And then here's one last thing as far as show notes are concerned. Friday, what we'll do is we'll have a regular show, but then I'll probably jump off stream and then jump back on Friday, and I'd like to play the new season of Marvel Rivals. So I'm thinking we could play that for several hours, maybe a pretty long stream Friday, just kind of hang out, chill, and try out this new season of Rivals. I'm actually excited. I think Rivals is going to make some big improvements. I mean, I like a lot of these changes. I know there's some controversial ones, like people seem really upset about the Thor changes. I think they look great, man. I think the Thor changes are cool. I'm actually more excited to play Thor than ever. But we'll see. We'll see how all that goes. So that's the show notes. I know, Iron Man's getting a little nerfed, huh? Guys, I cannot believe how much I'm sweating. This is, like, fucking embarrassing. Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck, man? I was, like, literally chill in this same exact room, like, 5 minutes ago. This is ridiculous. I don't know what's happening. All right, anyway. We got to get into it. We got to get into the news, man. We got too much to get into what am I trying to say? Brain. Okay, here we go. Let us begin. My God, ladies and gentlemen, let's begin, and let's begin with the Thunderbolts. So I want to talk about Thunderbolts. We're going to keep this brief. Well, hopefully. I don't know. I might drone on. Thunderbolts. Well, let's just read this from Luis Fernando here, and then we'll have a brief discussion about this because, man, this is such a weird one for me. Thunderbolts crosses $350 million at the global box office, but has legs terminated by competition and won't reach $400 million any longer. After grossing just 5.6 on the fourth weekend overseas, Captain America did 9.2. Jesus. A harsh 64.3% drop. The new Avengers hits 181.7 international cum over 53 markets, allied to its 171.4 U.S. cum, and it stands at 353.1 global. And he said cum again, but I'm not. With 180 million production price tag, not even including marketed, New Avengers is eyeing a 380 to 390 global run. Now, to me, this is like really fucking bad. And the first weekend, and you can even go back because we like the thing that's crazy about this is we've been covering it the whole fucking time. So basically, the first weekend going into it, there were projections. They technically came in low on the projections. Now, there was a weird thing where the Sunday numbers were off. So a lot of the articles that were written on Sunday and even early Monday were technically incorrect and actually had to be, they were even lower than what people thought. And so there was this weird mixed narrative where some people were like, oh, it's actually doing pretty well. And I know it's only a couple million here, a couple million there, but that matters for the trajectory of the thing. And it came in lower than projections. And the thing is, the following week, like the first weekend, I remember saying, this is really not that great. They will need an absolutely incredible hold into week 2 and into week 3 in order to make any money, right? And then week 2 was rough, man. It was not what they wanted. And again, it even got adjusted lower after we got into the Monday numbers. It was kind of weird. It did have some pickup in that first week to one week between week 1 into week 2, where you had a really strong Wednesday with, the discount Wednesday, or is that Tuesday? The discount Tuesday, and then a really strong Wednesday. But overall, guys, like this is from even after week 1, this is like dramatically lower than what people thought it would do. This thing had a number of $450 million to reach in order to not lose money. And that is not even a real number. I keep trying to explain this to you guys, but Hollywood's trying to do this thing now where they're ignoring the marketing budget. Now, Luis here does subtly hint at that, but doesn't go all the way to explain just how bad this is by saying that with a 180 million price tag, not including marketing, New Avengers is eyeing 380 to 390. So it's not going to make money at this point. I mean, again, unless something crazy changes. I keep having to put that sort of asterisk there where, like, sure, if it somehow has, like, absolutely fucking incredible legs moving forward from here, you could see something crazy happen. But the people that do this are really smart. The numbers are what they are. And it doesn't look good. I mean, and so if it does not even hit $400 million, it will not make as much as Eternals. And so this would be technically the third lowest gross ever for the MCU if you include the Incredible Hulk. Some people don't include the Incredible Hulk. I don't know why. But if you don't include the Incredible Hulk, it would be the second lowest. Only thing lower would be the Marvels, right? So, okay. I think it's pretty bad. Okay, chat, what do you think? Good, bad, right? Like, is this good? Is this bad? I was contacted by somebody yesterday. I think maybe after I was tweeting about this or maybe after I released the video yesterday. I got contacted by somebody that told me that in Hollywood, in that godforsaken town, they actually consider Thunderbolts to be a success. And in fact, I was told my take on Thunderbolts being a disaster is not conventional wisdom. And I was like, I don't understand what you are talking about. Please explain it. And so essentially, I think to steelman this, right? There's some people that are considering that the box office itself is just so low that maybe it's just we're living in a new world and box office is not going to be what it was. And so therefore, everything being incredibly diminished is fine. Technically speaking, this movie has been in the top 5 its entire run so far. It's even at number 4 for the box office this weekend. And I suppose there is some truth in that, but I would argue, and this is why, like, I just strongly disagree with the person that reached out to me. And I suppose, and you guys would know better than me, I suppose there are other pundits, channels, influencers, whatever you want to call them, there are other people covering this stuff that maybe don't think it's as big of a failure as I do, and that's totally fair. Like, everybody can have their opinion, and they can feel the way that they feel about it. But my counter to this, right? My counter to the person that reached out to me is like, you just had a record-breaking Memorial Day weekend. Like, meaning, in the history of Hollywood, this Memorial Day broke the all-time record. The all-time. So if we're truly in a diminished, it's over kind of Hollywood, how are we breaking records on Memorial Day? I would also say that if you look at, Minecraft, and even to a degree, the success of like Sinners and stuff, you look at the success in the box, and then you look at what's going on with Marvel, particularly with Thunderbolts. I mean, I'm sorry, man. I just completely reject this idea that this is in any way a success. In fact, I think it's a panic-inducing failure, frankly. Now, I will say this. That could not actually be true. Like, meaning, my take on it is that it's like it's pretty much it's over, panic time. I also believe that this had something to do with the delay for Doomsday. I truly believe that. What I would say is it is fair that there's not like no good news here. Like, the movie's quality, it has incredible critic scores, it has great audience scores. I think people like the film, those that saw it, right? So I wouldn't say it's a total and complete failure and it's like irredeemable. Nothing about this film is good. Like, for instance, when the story came out that Jake Schreier would be doing X-Men, I thought that was an incredible move. But here's the thing. I didn't think it was an incredible move because Thunderbolts was fucking successful. I thought it was an incredible move because despite not being successful, Marvel was able to acknowledge the good that came with it. Marvel was able to say, nah, this movie might not be successful. In fact, this movie probably lose money, but it has qualities that we really like. We think it's really good. And this guy, this director, is so good that we want to work with this dude for X-Men. That I took as Marvel truly saying, I will stand on quality, meaning despite what's going on in the box office, because frankly, either way you slice it, what has happened to this movie is maybe not the film's fault. It's Marvel fatigue. It's the state of the industry. It's all of these different things. It's paying for the sins of maybe past Marvel projects. Like, there's no way this movie should make less than like Love and Thunder, right? But Love and Thunder was coming out at a time when people hadn't fully checked out. So they were able to accept that film, and it made what, $600-700 million, right? So I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that like it is a complete and total failure, but man, it has been a bit irritating for me to watch the coverage of this film's performance. Frankly, I think be treated with kid gloves in the trades. I think a lot of the pundits and the YouTubers and the people that cover this stuff, I think they're treating it with kid gloves. I think the person that contacted me yesterday is way overselling how Hollywood feels about it, how people in the industry feel about it. I mean, I was told directly from sources that this is causing a panic at Marvel Studios. Now, they're not showing that. There's not a lot of reporting to indicate that. But that's what I was told, right? So, I don't know, man. I just wanted to bring this up mostly because I'm like, am I fucking crazy, dude? Like, am I crazy to think that the Marvel Cinematic Universe dropping 2 movies this year that are both going to lose money and a Daredevil show that can't even chart to the tune of 385 million minutes watched with 9 episodes to make the 10th seed? Am I really crazy? Because it is possible that things have absolutely moved in a new, different direction, but then explain Deadpool and Wolverine, explain Minecraft, explain Lilo and Stitch, right? And you're like, okay, well, Marvel then created Thunderbolts. It's not supposed to be a hit. Well, why is it like a $200 million movie? And then why did Marvel Studios bank so much on this film? You know what I mean? Like, these characters, this director's the future, all these things. Bob Iger's talking about how it represents this, that, second, and third. Like, guys, I'm sorry. I in good conscience, cannot sit here and report to you that I think Thunderbolts is anything but a really, really bad flop for Marvel, with some asterisks and some good things going on. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because of, I got hit up, but also we've just been tracking the box office in general. The thing that's really crazy about Thunderbolts, like the difference, the reason it probably won't get to Eternals numbers, the reason it probably won't get to Captain America numbers, which again, those movies are both failures. It can't get to the numbers of the other failures. And the reason why is twofold. Number one, it's the international markets. It's just so much softer in international markets than a lot of other Marvel movies. Just the international market seems way more checked out. And on top of that, the competition basically just completely fucking destroyed its legs. Like at this point, like I said, that's the thing. It's that 1-2 punch of like, yeah, it was soft overseas, and now because of the competition, it's just the path forward for this film is like non-existent. Now, I think it'll do better on digital. I think it'll be considered somewhat of a cult classic. We love it over here. Like the Marvel fans, we love this thing. But it's crazy to me to like try to sugarcoat it in the sort of way where it's successful. Like I can't find me the names. Find me the names of people that are calling this film successful. Like of the other pundits, of the other YouTubers. I want to know. I want to know who are these people that are reporting that Thunderbolts is a success. This is fucking crazy to me. Okay. So, moving on from the Thunderbolts box office, and maybe you'll have some questions about that. We can go over that during the Q&A section. I want to shift into some truly hyped up and fun stuff because I personally think that Marvel Studios is basically sending Thunderbolts out to die. They don't really care what's happening now. It's all about Doomsday. All of their eggs are in the Doomsday basket. I think Doomsday has to basically save Marvel Studios. And when I say that, what I really mean is if Marvel wants to get back to the point where they can make damn near billion-dollar movies multiple times a year, right? So I'm talking about like 700, 800 million, billion-dollar movies multiple times a year, then they have to not just kind of win some fans back, they have to like get back to that top position within the zeitgeist. They have to be like the coolest fucking thing. And I truly think the only chance they have to do that is Doomsday. Doomsday will be a movie that should easily make over $1 billion. I think it should easily make more money than Deadpool and Wolverine. That will present an interesting opportunity where you have more Marvel fans than ever coming back to check Marvel Studios out and kind of see what's going on there. If they like it, if they're hyped, they will stick around, and that will carry over into the X-Men saga, the Mutant saga, etc. Okay? So, let's talk about some of these updates because they're pretty wild, all right? So, filming underway, Avengers Doomsday spaceship set being built at Windsor Great Park, okay? And these are some schematics there. So, reading in the article, it says, Marvel's Avengers Doomsday is currently filming in Bahrain, as cast members, blah, 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 were recently spotted dining together at a restaurant. So here's the image here. And this is a beautiful place, though. It's a little island in, I guess, near China in the Middle East. And I don't know too much about it. I looked at some of the buildings they have there, though. It's beautiful. It looks kind of high-tech. Almost like a little mini Abu Dhabi thing going on in some of their cities. So I wonder if they're filming something... some advanced city or something like that. Who knows for sure? But there's more here that's really interesting. Following this, the next phase of filming is scheduled to take place at Windsor Great Park in the United Kingdom on June 15th, June 18th, and then again on June 26th to the 27th. According to slawobserver.co.uk, Marvel Studios has recently applied for permissions through All Time Productions. That's the production company making Doomsday. To film Avengers Doomsday in Windsor Great Park for a period of 6 months. The set includes a 1960s themed bungalow called Luke Cage House, which is probably a placeholder name, with a spaceship attached, which is currently under construction. So this right here looks to be the schematics. Has shared an image of the set being built at Pinewood. So this is the actual image of the set being built. And then this is like the schematics of it, probably from production, right? And I think a lot of the names being used on here is like all bullshit. So I don't think the Luke Cage thing means anything at all. But it is kind of interesting that they're filming all over these different locations. And I think for me, like, the first thing that's wild about this is they just delayed this movie by 7 months. And yet they're full steam ahead still. It's not like they're really recalibrating it as far as we understand it. They're still just doing the shooting schedule that they had. So perhaps with this 7-month period, what you're really looking at is fine-tuning some of the visual effects, maybe some top secret shooting stuff that'll happen on sound stages or something like that. You know how Marvel does that. You could just have big additions to the reshooting schedule, which probably makes the most sense. You know, you have characters like Elizabeth Olsen's Wanda that are said to be a big part of it, but she's apparently filming something else right now. I think they still probably want Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the film. And in fact, I think the delay makes that far more likely. You know, part of the reason Tom Holland might not have been in Doomsday was because of conflicts with his schedule. But now you get this extra month period, extra long. So I think that that's probably what you're looking at there. But it's just fascinating that they delay the thing 7 months, and yet Monday they're back to work and they're filming. So they're filming in this place here with some advanced futuristic looking buildings. Could be like, you know, even some, I've heard maybe it's some Wakanda stuff or alternate universe Wakanda, right? Because we've seen some things that might imply different T'Challa in this movie. So maybe that's what they're filming here. That could be pretty cool. Some big time rumors about Wakanda out there. That would be really fun. This 1960s house, right? This is kind of interesting. So the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, they are in a retro futuristic 1960s. They may or may not have actually been in the MCU during the 1960s. Like, there's a lot of weird rumors about what that could be. This could also be going back in time to the 1960s, right? Because we think the TVA and the Void is going to be a big part of this. So I'm curious about all of that. And then there's the spaceship element. Okay? We keep hearing about these spaceships, dude. Like, what are these spaceships? There's apparently one or maybe a couple on the big X-Men set outside of the X-Mansion. There's apparently one going to be connected here. And I guess I would imagine, you know, depending on how sprawling and how crazy this thing is, you would need your characters to be jumping around. So is this the Avengers in a spaceship, like a Quinjet or something that's flying around to different planets, different even potentially times? I'm not really sure. Is it Doctor Doom and his Illuminati or Cabal as they're flying around to these different locations? I'm not really sure. Is it the Fantastic Four? We're going to have to find out because it could be more than one Fantastic Four in this movie as well. So all of that's really crazy. One other thing I want to add to this section here. Daniel RPK recently said that the Void, meaning the place where all the matter gets destroyed, the place that's in Loki, and then the place that is in Deadpool and Wolverine, that location is apparently going to be incredibly important to Avengers Doomsday. And I started to think, like, man, guys, this movie is so big. It's so crazy. There's so much that we don't know. And I'm fascinated by these different places that they're filming. I don't know if I really anticipated the Void itself being a big part of this movie. Like, if you think about it, you got 616, right? Then you've got the X-Men universe. You've got the TVA. You've got potentially, like, other universes. And then, the Void. But then it's like, okay, you try to think of how can the Void play this huge role? Well, maybe some of the other characters we're hearing about, like your Ghost Rider that we're going to talk about in a little bit here. Maybe even the Spider Boys. There's so many other characters that if Marvel just wants to be in the movie, the best way to explain that is via the Void. Because it seems like what's going to happen is incursions are continuing to happen. Universes are being destroyed. Well, what happens when the universe is destroyed? They end up on the Void, right? Like, maybe they end up if they get pruned, but I would imagine being killed in an incursion, there's no way all of that matter can just be destroyed there either. So then they would end up just there because there's stuff on the Void that just gets dumped, like the Fox logo, you know, all the stuff in the Easter eggs that we saw from Loki season 1, which, by the way, one of them was a Hydra helicarrier, which I always thought was so cool and I thought would connect to Hydra Captain America. So, kind of wild stuff here, guys. Updates about Doomsday. And man, they're just doing so fucking much right now. Half of the crew, or some of them, are filming on an island right now. They're building these sets. They're going to be shooting on the Void. They're filming, by the way, another addition to this. They're filming on some big estate. And a lot of people think it's going to end up being Latveria and Doom's Castle, which was confirmed to also play a role. So, dude, what the hell is this movie? I have so many questions, and I kind of can't believe that they delayed 7 months and, like, everything's just still going. Like, seriously, imagine that. I remember Kenobi, right? They had a similar delay. They fired everybody and told them to go home, and then they reworked the scripts. Doomsday is full steam ahead, and they have an extra 7 months. So, wild. Just wanted to update you with regards to all of that. And let me know, of course, if you have any questions. What do you think the 1960s house could be? What do you think's up with these spaceships? What do you think's up with the Void, right? What do you think they're filming at this futuristic island over in the South Pacific? Like, what the hell is going on? What do you think about it? Let me know. And I would love to. If you figure something out, please let me know, because I'm like super confused about a lot of this. Okay. On that note, I want to talk about this a little bit, guys. We have a Fantastic Four trailer tonight. Now, would this technically be trailer number 3? Is it a full-ass trailer? Or is it like a special look kind of thing? I'm not really sure. I do know for sure that I will be keeping an eye out for this. If it's something really substantial, I'll probably make a video about it. Either way, I'll talk about it on stream tomorrow. Remember, that stream will be pre-recorded. I will be flying. I'll be flying to New York City. But you guys will still get the stream, because I'll pre-record it and drop it around that time. So just want to put this on your radar. I don't know. Do you guys know what it's going to be? Has anybody heard any rumors about this? I will say that the little TV commercial thing they did in the elevator, did y'all see this? So they have Sue Storm, Reed Richards, and Johnny all in an elevator. It's actually awesome. Johnny is so good. Like, dude, he's killing it. Joseph Quinn, he's killing it as Johnny, which is good, because I had all sorts of concerns, because they were like, yo, he's not going to chase tail anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? But for now, so far, so good. Absolutely love that. Reed seems perfect in it. Sue was great. And hot. So I think they're cooking with the marketing here with Fantastic Four. Now, the question is, right? Are we in a little bubble? Like, are we in a bubble where it seems like Fantastic Four's marketing's popping off, man? I'm so nervous to hear the long-range box office projections for this thing. I'm so nervous, man. I truly, like, again, it goes back to the Thunderbolts thing. Not everybody feels the way I feel. God, I hope they're right, by the way. Let me just say this. I kind of think Thunderbolts is really bad. And I think Marvel's in like a total low point. And I think a lot of like apathy, straight up apathy has set in for people. I mean, Chicken Jockey's making $1 billion. You can't even get there with 2 Marvel movies in the first quarter of this year. I think it's really bad. Not everybody agrees. And I know they're turning it around. I know they're in process of turning it around. In fact, God damn it, nobody knows that better than me. Okay? I'm super plugged in on this shit. Of course. They're making changes, and Doomsday is going to be hopefully way different. But here's the question about Fantastic Four, man. How much leftover goobly glob from the Phase 4, Phase 5 thinking is in Fantastic Four? How much apathy is out there for the Marvel brand due to all of Phase 4 and 5? You know, I've seen some data, and we don't have great data on this, but I've seen some data to suggest that Superman has been way more in the zeitgeist than Fantastic Four. I don't know for sure. I think this data is going to start coming out pretty soon. Like, we're gonna understand how close this race is. We're gonna understand how cooked Marvel might be very soon. Like, I definitely want to know what the long-range projection for Fantastic Four is. Now, having said that, I think FF has been much higher than Captain America and Thunderbolts as far as like its imprint on social media, like what do people know about it, think about it, the interest to go see it, etc., etc. I think it's obviously going to be higher than Brave New World and Thunderbolts, right? Like we all agree that, right? Like, guys, if you believe Fantastic Four is going to do way better than Thunderbolts and Captain America, put a 1 into the chat. I'm just curious. What do you think? I definitely think so. Here's the question, though. How much better? Yeah, tons of 1s flooding into the chat if you're listening on the podcast feed. Yeah, we all believe it's going to do way better. The question is how much better? Because if it's 500 million, that's not that much better. If it's 600 million, that's not that much better. 700 million, now we're starting to talk. 800, 900 million, now you've got a hit. Now it feels like I'm going to breathe a sigh of relief. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable. I think Marvel will feel a lot more comfortable too if that happens. So we'll see. They are in a interesting position, and they're about to ramp up marketing quite a bit. The competition is steep. It seems like fatigue is at an all-time high. So we're going to have to see how this all fits together with regards to Fantastic Four. And that begins, or I guess the next phase of that begins tonight when we get that trailer. So, again, look out, man. I'll probably do a little reaction breakdown video, and then we'll talk about it on stream tomorrow. Now, oh, man. Speaking of Superman, speaking of Marvel, oh, man. I kind of got a feeling here. I got a feeling. I have a premonition. Okay. I need to say something here. And I don't know that a lot of you are going to believe me. Some of you are going to be mad when I say this. I'm starting to feel like we might be entering the age of DC. I'm starting to think that DC might really take over Marvel in a way that, frankly, we've never seen. If you're a comic book fan, I know, chat's already getting fired up. Just chill. Just chill out and hear me out on this, would you? Just walk with me on this. Let me cook. Okay, I've got reasons. First thing I want to say here. Everything is all screwed up today. So weird. Okay, first thing I want to say. I've never experienced this in my life, okay? I'm damn near 40 years old. I've been a nerd pretty much my whole fucking life. Reading comics, loving DC, and loving Marvel. DC's always kind of been like the Pepsi Cola to Marvel's Coke. Meaning they're the biggest two, but Coke's Coke. Coke's always ahead of Pepsi. It's just, that's what it is. It always has been. There have been moments when it's a little closer. There have been moments where DC's doing really, really well. Marvel maybe hasn't been. But overall, DC's always been a little lesser than Marvel, okay? But obviously we're living in different times right now. And if this happens, it will truly recalibrate the entire space of comic book, like American comic book genre. Like I'm telling you right now, it will come with massive fucking changes. And in fact, I got some wild hot takes here, okay? I got some wild hot takes. Here's the first one. If James Gunn's DCU starts outperforming Kevin Feige's Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it could be the final straw for Kevin. I'm just saying. I think Bob Iger and Disney can stomach quite a bit. And I think they can definitely stomach what's happening right now with Marvel, although they're not super pleased. But if Superman makes like 1.5, maybe more. Like I don't even know if it will, but let's just say it makes like buku bucks. More than Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay? And it's already the case that DC Comics are dominating Marvel Comics sales right now. There's two big initiatives happening at both companies. There's the Ultimates universe at Marvel Studios and a relaunch of X-Men, which fell almost completely flat. And then you have a bunch of stuff going on at DC. So you have the Absolute universe. That's their answer to the Ultimates universe. It's outselling everything at Marvel. You have a new creative team coming on for Batman. I've heard big time rumors of a new creative team for Superman and some wild stuff going on there in their main line. DC kind of out of nowhere is dominating the comic book scene and a lot of fandom. And I think at a time, this is what's so weird about this, at a time when Marvel is really faltering. I mean, look at the numbers. We've discussed them. The MCU's kind of cooked. Marvel Comics are kind of cooked. Amazing Spider-Man has been cooked for like 20 years. The X-Men stuff right now is maybe at a all-time low, which is so ironic because Kevin himself and Buckley came over and killed the Krakoa era, and the new shit is just not popping. It's not selling the same. It doesn't have the fans engaged. Marvel's in a weird spot, man. A really weird spot. So that takes us to this. And this is where some of my anticipation of the era of DC is coming from. And by the way, let me just say, let's just admit something. It would be bittersweet. Obviously, I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan. But I love DC, man. I love the DC characters. I love the DC comics. So if DC were to flip and become the biggest part of this conversation, it would be bittersweet because I truly think these characters deserve it. I love the DC universe, man. And some of the greatest comic book writers of all time have had, great stories inside the DC comic sphere. So it would be a little bit bittersweet. But I think it could be something that would really supercharge Marvel into a lot of changes. A lot of changes. So what am I talking about? DC Studios will finally be coming to San Diego Comic-Con in July. Now, I have dogged on Gunn and DC, the DC Studios. I have given them a lot of shit for not being at Comic-Con for the past couple of years and for not taking advantage of these platforms and these big, nerdy events. They've been kind of quiet and hush-hush on that, and I know he's building a universe, he's doing all this stuff, and look, say one thing, say whatever you want about James Gunn, he's busting his ass right now, he's not even being paid what he should be, frankly, from what I've heard, and that's a damn shame, but it is what it is, and it just shows you that he's sort of taken a sacrifice, in a sense. I mean, yes, it's good for his career, he's given himself $1 million gigs, you know what I mean, but frankly, he would have got those gigs anyway, just elsewhere. The amount of work that Gunn is doing right now, he is not being properly compensated for that. And I think that just shows that he loves DC and he's really, truly trying to do something bigger than just like a paycheck or a career move, right? I honestly believe that. So, San Diego Comic-Con this year. Okay. Man, you would have asked me even 5 or 6 days ago, I would have said, well, that's cool, but they're going to get dominated at Comic-Con. And why would they get dominated at Comic-Con? Because Doomsday's filming, and it's going to come out early the following year. So the possibility for like Doomsday hype and setup from Marvel would be huge. Well, now that movie doesn't come out for a year and a half at the time of Comic-Con. So even though there will be some Doomsday stuff, I feel like they'll kind of play a little closer to the vest. I think they'll leave some stuff for next year. It'll still be really hype. Like, dude, don't get me wrong. But DC has a chance to go nuts at Comic-Con. I think the Superman hype is real. I think a lot of people are very excited about that. They have 2 other projects in production right now that I think are incredible. Supergirl looks so fucking cool, man. From what we've seen with the set photos, it looks awesome, man. Frankly, it looks cooler than Superman to me. I'm very excited for Supergirl. The Lantern Show looks lit, man. The Lantern Show looks lit. And we have barely seen anything, but it's just the quality of that team. The stunt guy and the rings taken off, which Warner Brothers took down. I thought was so stupid, but it looked good. We saw it. They released some set photos recently. They don't have like visual effects and whatnot, but it looks sharp. I think Lanterns has a chance, depending on what they show, to make a big pop and to do something really, really crazy. But I'll tell you this. If they come to Comic-Con and that's all they do, if all they do is show Superman, Supergirl, and the Lantern Show, then they're not going to take over. Okay? But do you know they have other things in the barrel that could really shake things up, okay? And I'm going to make a bold prediction right here. I'm going to make a bold prediction. Depending on where the box office for Superman is at when they go to Comic-Con, I would not be surprised if they announce their Batman and World's Finest. Now, technically speaking, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. Jeff Snyder recently reported that he has heard that if Superman grosses enough, they want to do World's Finest. It makes sense. There were actually old rumors of World's Finest years ago. Seems like something that's been on James Gunn's mind. And man, I got to tell you, a World's Finest movie. So a World's Finest movie would be awesome regardless. Okay? But if this dude comes out and he announces a World's Finest movie and Superman's like already at $1 billion, that's a different kind of hype, because then you have all these fans and you're going to have a bunch of hardcores, but you'll have normies. I mean, that's what happened with Marvel, dude. Hall H has been happening for like 40 years. It wasn't until Marvel started really popping off that you had to wait in line for a whole day, right? So what's going to happen? The normies will come in. If Superman is a success, if it starts blowing the fuck up and we get to like $1 billion before Comic-Con, bro, they could come out, introduce their Batman. Maybe it's Matt Reeves' boy. Maybe it's not. Kind of doesn't matter. We'd be riding off of the success of Superman. Batman is so popular. He has like all the top selling comics every year. Like, dude, Batman's Batman, right? So if they come out and announce a World's Finest movie, oh my fucking God. Okay, but they have another. Paradise Lost. Do y'all remember Paradise Lost? So to me, when Gunn first announced his slate, you know, and he was talking about that, it was when he shot the little lot in the closet at Warner Brothers. He's talking about how he said some wild shit in that thing, like Shazam's always been in his own little corner, like weird stuff, right? Anyway, one of the projects he first announced was this Paradise Lost thing, and I thought this was such a brilliant idea. Paradise Lost was described as Game of Thrones with the Amazons and Wonder Woman. So a Game of Thrones-esque, like, political intrigue, like everybody's trying to undercut each other and get power, that kind of a show, with the Amazons on Themyscira, or Paradise Island, with Wonder Woman. Bro, are you kidding me? That is a brilliant idea. That is a brilliant idea. And I've heard some little rumblings that that project is actually doing a lot better than people think. Directed by Zack Snyder, W. I think that project is doing better than people think. I think there's been some progress made on the scripts, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the trigger on that. Again, especially if Superman is successful, because I think Warner Brothers, and rightfully so, Warner Brothers is really waiting. They're waiting to see what happens with Superman. If Superman's a big, big success, I think they're going to pull the trigger on multiple projects, because it's actually not even as much about how much money the movies make. I think Zaslav and Warner Brothers realizes that the DC IP is actually the key to greater brand strength and greater assets for the entire Warner Brothers Discovery company. That is the big difference between Marvel and the MCU and a lot of other film studios, franchises, etc. is like, Marvel's a machine, and it has created so much ancillary wealth to even the films. And the films, of course, crush. Not so much anymore, right? But the films crushed for so long, and there's so much other value there that Disney's going to be fine, even if Fantastic Four makes like Thunderbolts numbers, truly. But DC and Warner Brothers, what they are looking for is social signaling from moviegoers and the wider audience of just like nerds and consumers that this new DCU is a thing, and a thing that they want to be involved with and get into and, make purchases for, and potentially go to amusement parks and all sorts of stuff, man. Like, they want it bad, bro. That's what this whole experiment, that's what the whole thing with Gunn, bringing him in and bringing Safran in, that's the whole thing. It's a massive bet on Zaslav's part to get some of that MCU magic to help the literal company. So what I'm saying to you is, because of the way Superman is happening, Superman's going to come out, I think, 3 weeks before San Diego Comic-Con. I believe, maybe more. It's either 3 or 4 weeks before San Diego. So it has time to have made its, first weekend opening box office and then potentially even crept. Oh, it's only 2 weeks? Okay, that's a little bit different. But still, it's tight. But if this thing going into week 2 is looking crazy successful, I think they're going to pull the trigger and they're going to make some insane announcements at Comic-Con. That's what I would hope for. Again, I think Gunn understands the nerd culture. He spent enough time with Kevin and Marvel to understand how important San Diego Comic-Con is for that brand. And so that's another part of the reason why I was so mad that he wasn't going to Comic-Con and shit. But, like, guys, like, we could really be seeing a shift. You know what I mean? And I guess for me, it would depend on how I feel about Superman. But again, even if I don't love Superman as much as some of you guys, just because some of the James Gunn stuff, again, it's Supergirl, it's Lanterns, it's potentially World's Finest and all these other projects, right? Like the Paradise Lost. Bro, that's a strong catalog. And at a time when Marvel seems to just have so many problems, so much fatigue, people are just not looking at Marvel the same way. DC's either going to run into a lot of problems because of what Marvel did, like Marvel might have soured the entire space, and DC's going to have to live with that. Or DC could represent a revitalization of that space, and you could see all of these fans that, used to love Marvel and love talking about Marvel as much, start to shift into the DCU. So, I don't know, man. From where I'm sitting, I think it's a strong possibility. Marvel just... It's really hard to outrun the kind of brand damage that I think they've created. And although DC has had a lot of the same brand damage, I think there's so much emphasis on Superman, and it's just so much more exciting to have a new thing and the new chapter. So I think there's some inherent excitement that even Fantastic Four will not be able to capture. So we'll just see. I'm predicting a very big Comic-Con for DC and for Marvel, which means it's going to be a very big Comic-Con for us, ladies and gentlemen. That might be a day, depending on if DC's the same day. Yo, that might be a long day of streaming and nerding out. But I'm really excited. I'm excited to see how all of that goes. Okay. Let's keep going here, man. I think it's time to talk some Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some Star Wars. Oh, this one's kind of tough. So, Daniel RPK reported over the weekend a couple of things. A sequel to The Mandalorian and Grogu will be greenlit if the first movie is successful. If the film flops, it will serve as the final chapter for Mando. Wow. Okay. So, a couple of different things in here. One thing that you got to understand, and this was covered in this article here, Mandalorian Season 4 is off the table, but a sequel movie could be made, new rumor claims. So within here, they're talking about how on his Patreon, Daniel sort of spoke to the fact that there will not be a fourth season of Mando Grogu. Now, when we first heard of this Mando Grogu movie, we were like, dude, what is this? Is this the fourth season or not? And there was a long time when we thought it was. However, there was some other reporting suggesting that you might still get a fourth season of Mando and Grogu. Like, I remember some really reliable people saying that was on the table. You know what this means? Conflicting reports. It means they're trying to decide. And even in this report here from Daniel, it shows different scenarios, right? So, let's get into this. So basically, if the movie is a success, what would success look like? Now, this is a relatively cheap Star Wars movie. I think its budget's actually something like 170 million, but there's massive tax credits in LA for this film, cutting off like 50 million. So I think they might be able to report the budget at like 130, 140, if I'm not mistaken. So if you 2.5 that, you're looking at 70, 210, right? 210 million, 2.5 and, oh wait, no. So if it's 140, no, it's 340. So that's pretty low. You add in the marketing budget to that, which will probably at least be 75 million more, which like if you 2.5 that, You're adding like another 160 million. 4, 5. So basically, if this thing actually gets to $500 million, it's probably going to break even. And maybe even start making a profit around 450, depending on, because there's like this weird thing with this movie where it has a bigger budget, but it's getting these massive tax credits. So it's like dropping the budget or whatever. So I guess Disney wants this thing to hit 5, 6, 7, 800 million. I'm guessing that's what they're looking for. And I would guess that if it does Thunderbolts numbers or Brave New World numbers, that will be considered a failure. So if it doesn't get a 4 in front of it, I think it's obviously a failure. If it doesn't get a 5 in front of it, it's probably a failure, maybe not a super big failure. I think it probably needs mid 5s to 6 to be considered a success. And then if it is successful, they're going to tell another movie. Now, I have some questions about that. Does that mean it's literally another Mando Grogu movie? Or is this Dave's movie? Because Dave's movie is supposed to tell the story of these characters, the stories of the Ahsoka characters, and even like young Luke, Leia, and Han. Those characters are all supposed to be a part of Dave Filoni's movie, which is going to be heavily set up in Ahsoka Season 2 with like Abeloth, Thrawn, all that kind of stuff. Does this mean possibly that if this movie fails, we don't even get Dave's movie, or Dave's movie becomes something completely different? I don't know. I think another way you could read this is there's plainly no more Mando Grogu on Disney Plus. So it's the end of Mando and Grogu as a show on Disney Plus. Maybe he could pop up in Ahsoka. And then you're either done completely with this character or you're getting one more. This I don't know, this is kind of wild to me, right? So we're at this place where there was a time where we thought, okay, they're just making this movie and then you're going to have a 4th season and then you're probably going to have this character pop up here, this, that, second, and the third. It almost feels like Disney is saying Mando Grogu has to be a profitable movie or we're done with it. And that feels very weird because you look at the numbers. We talked about Andor last week, right? And, Andor Season 2, much stronger numbers than it had in Season 1. Credit where credit's due, but it's still just, it's not great. It's not blowing stuff up. The biggest thing ever was Mando for them. Mando was crazy, and it saw bigger and bigger numbers, like actual growth. So Mando's like their best performing Disney Plus thing if you include the fact that it's multiple seasons. Interest seems to go up. So how is their most popular Disney Plus show getting canceled, turned into a movie, and if it can't perform as a movie, it's just over? Like, doesn't this seem like incredible mismanagement of a really valuable asset? Like, isn't Mando and Grogu, like, really valuable? Is it so bad with Pedro that they're sending this thing out to die so they can be done with it? I do not understand. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, it just keeps seeming more and more like Season 2 should have just been the finale for the show. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems more and more like they should have just ended it there. Because what happened after that? Season 3, fucking terrible, dude. Season 3 was whack as fuck. Now you're getting this movie, and look, I'd love to sit here and tell you I've heard incredible things about this movie. I haven't. The trailer looks cool, and there were some really fun action sequences. By the way, none of that's Pedro. You know what I mean? That's all John Wayne's son. But the action looks cool, and yeah, it's Star Wars. There's walkers, blasters, aliens, X-Wings, Yeah, it's a Star War. But I've also heard that it's literally just like a buddy romp with them and Rada, Jabba the Hutt's son, who's going to be this big fucking CGI Hutt. So you're going to be hanging out with this big CGI Hutt the entire movie. And it's a little romp with Grogu, this massive Hutt, and Mando? I've heard no cool things, no cool cameos. The villain is Embo, and then technically it's the Shadow Council from the end of season 3 of Mando. Gideon's dead. The Darksaber's crushed. What the hell are we doing here? Like, this just seems so ridiculous to me. I don't know, man. Like this, it's just like, am I crazy? Like, am I crazy, chat, to think this is really bad? I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I guess at this point, we'll see what Mando Grogu does. I don't have any idea, man. I'm so lost on what this thing could even do, because it is the best performing show. I think Grogu is the most popular character. Maybe they're really just trying to separate Grogu from Mando, right? Maybe that's what this is about. But I find this story to be really odd. I don't know. Will this even make headlines in the sense that, like, will fans want to go support the movie just to get more Mando and Grogu? It just feels really backwards and weird. And then I will also say that if this is just some long plan or some long con from Kathy to cancel Dave's movie, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. I don't think that's what it is, because, again, I think Ahsoka did really well per numbers. And if Ahsoka Season 2 does even better, then, yeah, they're going to cook with Dave's stuff for the movie. But maybe this just means then that Mando and Grogu won't be a part of that. I also think this pretty much confirms that Jon Favreau is on the way out. This was something I talked about in that big report I had. And there were a lot of folks speculating that Jon Favreau would join with Dave Filoni and be in charge of Star Wars. My source told me that will never happen. John is finishing out his contract with Lucasfilm, and then he's moving on. He has major beef with Kathy. He does not like what's going on there. Guys, he didn't even direct all of Mando and Grogu on set. There was a whole part of the movie he shot from home, and they just Skyped him in. He was sick of Kathy's shit. You know what I mean? So it's just wild, the stories I've heard about this movie and about John. So I guess we'll see. You know what I mean? I guess we'll see what happens. Mando and Grogu. Are you guys excited? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think the movie's going to be successful? If it is, do you want another Mando Grogu movie? Man, Star Wars. Whew. Crazy, 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 crazy. Okay. We got to keep going here. There's even more. There's even more, chat. Let's talk about Ghost Rider, man. Oh, man. Ghost Rider's so cool. Johnny Blaze, so cool. Well, guess what? You might be getting a new Johnny Blaze in Avengers Doomsday. Let's read here. Rumor, Marvel Studios wants this 3-time Oscar nominee to play Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday. Earlier this week, the news broke that Marvel Studios and the Russo brothers are looking to cast the MCU's Ghost Rider in Avengers Doomsday. While plenty of multiversal madness will ensue in the movie, the expectation is that this will be Earth 616 Spirit of Vengeance, similar to how Captain America Civil War introduced Tom Holland's Spider-Man. The question is, who will take over the role of Johnny Blaze from Nicolas Cage? Well, according to Insider My Time to Shine Hello, Marvel Studios wants Barbie, La La Land, and the Fall Guy star Ryan Gosling, the friggin' Gos, to play the fiery anti-hero. This doesn't mean he'll agree, of course, but it's hardly surprising to learn that Kevin Feige is eager to cast a big name. For what it's worth, Gosling has confirmed he'd be down to star in a superhero movie. The 3-time Oscar nominee has also expressed interest in Ghost Rider. When Kevin Feige was asked about that, he said, "Hey, man, if Ryan wants to be Ghost Rider, Gosling's unbelievable. Ryan is amazing. I'd love to find a place for him in the MCU." Promoting the Fall Guy alongside Emily Blunt last year, Gosling was told about the Marvel Studios president's seal of approval and responded, "This was a magical moment. I told Josh I would like to play Ghost Rider. He found Kevin Feige, corners him, does an interview with him. When he says, 'I would like this,' all the lights go off." Yeah, that was Josh Horowitz. We actually did touch on that when that interview happened as well. Pretty cool. As for whether there's any real movement on that front, a cagey Gosling responded, "I don't know. When Emily Blunt interjected and said she didn't expect him to sign up for a superhero project, the Academy Award nominee told her, "I would love to. It would be amazing. Come be in Ghost Rider." The actor has previously said he's turned down many superhero roles but declined to name them. "It doesn't matter. I wasn't right for it, but I would love to do it." Clearly, he's waiting for the right character, but will Ghost Rider be it? We'll have to wait and see. But his wife, wait, this dude's married to Eva Mendes? Holy shit, man. Starred in Ghost Rider alongside Cage in 2007. That movie is so bad, but it's so bad that it's good. The scene where they're on the road and Nick Cage is driving around them doing like tricks in his motorcycle trying to have this conversation with her is so ridiculous. But she's hot and it's fun. So fuck it. You should watch the movie. The Ghost Rider mantle has been held by several characters, though Johnny Blaze remains the most iconic. Debuting in 1972, he's a stunt motorcyclist who, through the deal with the devil, transformed into Ghost Rider, went into the presence of evil. As we're sure you're aware, his head then becomes a flaming skull, which is dope as fuck. He wields a chain imbued with mystical powers, punishing the wicked and riding a flaming motorcycle. The character borrows heavily from the supernatural horror and superhero genres, with Danny Ketch and Robbie Ray as among those to later inherit the curse from Johnny. If rumors that we're getting a Midnight Suns movie are accurate, we'd imagine Marvel Studios would want to put Ghost Rider front and center alongside other characters like Moon Knight and Blade. Doomsday is set to release December 18th. Okay, so this is pretty cool, man. Let's talk about this a little. So the Goss. I mean, I guess first question for the chat. Do you guys think the Goss would be right for Johnny Blaze? I think he'd actually be fantastic, man. I mean, you especially like, there's two movies that come to mind. Drive. Y'all ever seen Drive with the Goss? Oh, shit. It's awesome. Drive, and then The Fall Guy. Dude, he's so good in Fall Guy. Does a lot of crazy stunt work. Really cool action. He's badass. And then, like, dude, in Drive, whoa. Very cool. So I think he would be a good pick for it. I was kind of hoping it would be Keanu. Maybe it still will be, but we'll see. I love this sort of interplay here where he's talking about doing it. Josh Horowitz talks to Kevin. Kevin's like, I would do it. And then, you know, word gets back to Goss. I will also say Goss is, he's about to be in the Disney fandom, the Disney family. He is starring in Sean Levy's Star Wars movie, Starfighter, which, they talked about at Star Wars Celebration a couple of months ago. And I thought, even though Celebration was kind of a weird presentation, didn't love it, I thought Gosling really met that moment. I thought he looked comfortable. He really showed a lot of love to the fans. He seemed to just be comfortable in that environment. And it seemed like he was, there's some cool photos of him and Hayden Christensen, and they're talking about like him now being in the Star Wars fandom. And it just felt like this was a dude embracing something that maybe he wasn't certain he wanted. I'm sure if you're a working actor and if you're a really talented one like Goss, there's all sorts of opportunities for you. And it's like, do you really want to step into something where crazy people like me are going to, break down everything you say and do for the next 10 years or whatever? It's probably a lot. Our fans, the Marvel fans and just fans in general, are a lot, right? But he seemed to embrace it at Star Wars Celebration, and if this is something he's going to enjoy and like that as a part of the process, I could see him signing up for the Marvel thing. I think the Marvel thing is a bigger commitment than the Star Wars thing. I think the Star Wars thing, at least as far as I understand it, it's not a series of movies. It's sort of an offshoot thing. Not to say that he couldn't be involved in other movies, but frankly, if he is Ghost Rider, that is a way crazier commitment because, yeah, they're going to want multi-picture deal. They're going to want cameos. They're going to want him to do a lot of promotion. I mean, remember how much they flew Anthony Mackie around for Captain America? So it's a massive commitment. If he's comfortable with it, and it kind of seems like via the Star Wars stuff that he's beginning to get comfortable with it, it could be a perfect fit. We might be entering an era with Marvel where they do want some big names. I know the X-Men seem to be a lot of relatively big names, but also younger actors. I think Goss would be a great get for Midnight Suns. And then imagine this, right? you start to think about Midnight Suns. Goss as Ghost Rider. Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. Mahershala Ali as Blade. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch. Maybe Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, guys, that is an absolutely stacked cast. That is a ridiculous amount of talent in a supernatural Marvel franchise. I think Marvel for a long time has been eyeing up the supernatural side as sort of an untapped part of their catalog and potentially a part that people would embrace a little bit more than maybe some of these other things like the street level stuff. I think it's all around good news, man. I think it's all around good news. Oh, yeah, Dane Whitman. Yeah. We'll see if he'll be in it either. But, yeah, there you go. Crazy rumors with regards to Ghost Rider, guys. Let me know what you think about that. We're not done. We're not done. Hang on one second. I want to do a thing here real quick before we get into this. Man, how do I do this? I guess. Let's see here. Delete. Sorry, guys. Give me just a second. Okay. All right, let's get into this. Nova. Nova's a cool character, and we've heard a lot about Nova. Nova's series was like all being developed, like we were going to see it next year, and then all of a sudden it gets paused, and then all of a sudden maybe it's not a show anymore. What the hell's going on? Well, let's talk about this new rumor, and then I'll give context for all the other stuff. So it says here, new rumors highlight the key role of Nova TV series in the MCU's next saga. A few months ago, Marvel Television has put development on hold for 3 upcoming series, Nova, Strange Academy, and Terror Incorporated. While these shows were never officially confirmed, we covered them extensively in past via various inside scoops and leaks. Sources have revealed that they're currently not moving forward. The Nova news is especially shocking, taking into account how Winterbaum praised the direction of the show just a few months ago, while confirming that the show has exited the early development stage and is now shaping up nicely. The Nova series apparently seemed like the furthest along, with plans for, don't know who this is, to write the adaptation. The show was initially looking to focus on Richard Rider, the last surviving member of the Nova Corps. Recently, Criminal Minds writer Ed Bernero was brought on as showrunner to replace Pirzada, but now the project has been paused for the time being. However, if the insiders are to be believed, like Alex Perez, the show will get developed and released somewhere down the line. Recently, Perez held a Q&A session and talked about various MCU-related projects. Perez said he isn't sure if Nova will have more than one season. However, he confirmed that the show will be very important to the next big Marvel storyline. He compared its role to how Loki was key to the Multiverse Saga. As far as we know, Nova development is still very much paused, but who knows? It certainly may be picked up on later if what Perez claims could turn out to be true. Okay, so I want to explain this to you, because this is actually crazy. So, you have Alex Perez, and this was in one of the Cosmic Circus Q&As recently, talking about this Nova thing. What he said was that he expected the show to still come out, and he said it will be critical to the next saga in the same way that Loki was. Now, Loki's such an interesting show. It happens fairly early on in Phase 4, right? So you have WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Loki. And Loki was so obviously like a massive deal for Marvel. It recontextualized everything. It opens up the multiverse, introduces the TVA, introduces the concept of the Infinity Saga being like a written script that these TVA people are talking about. It introduces things far more powerful than the Infinity Stones. It just recontextualizes everything. And ultimately, it serves to set up the main villain of the entire saga, was the main villain, right, in Kang, and also potentially the main hero. I mean, Loki and what he does at the end of season 2 is going to be played on in Doomsday in like a really important role. Right now, Loki's holding everything together, and apparently Doctor Doom will need to get to where Loki is at. And so if you consider that like the end of the story of the entire saga will play back to Loki via Kang, because He Who Remains and the script that he had and the sacred timeline, that is definitely going to play a role in like Doctor Doom's motivation. As far as we understand it, Doom's universe was like tossed aside or made insignificant or destroyed by the actions of He Who Remains. So He Who Remains makes the sacred timeline important. Everything else falls by the wayside, and that apparently is connected to Doom's motivation. The reason that's important is this is a show that they were thinking about the very end for the whole saga, the 2 Avengers movies, which I continue to tell you, they've been cooking Secret Wars for like 5 years, guys. They've been cooking Secret Wars since Infinity War. They knew Loki and different elements from the Loki show were going to end up playing a huge role in that. I think that's what Alex is saying when he says that the Nova show will be like the Loki show. That's pretty crazy, because we also heard that the Nova show was going to have Annihilus as the main villain. Okay? And we were told that Annihilus will not just be a one and done, but Annihilus may well be the villain of that entire saga, of the Mutant Saga, which is kind of hard to like wrap your head around. You're like, Mutant Saga, Annihilus, what the fuck? But either way, if what Alex is saying is to be believed, then there's a plan for the Nova show to be like Loki, in the sense that it's going to introduce not only Richard Rider, but elements that will connect to Annihilus and set up the big threat and the craziness that's going to happen in that saga, okay? Here's the thing, though. I personally believe, and this is just speculation, but I personally believe that what this is meaning is you probably won't get Nova as a show. Now, why do I think this? Well, for one, Jeff Snyder had a scoop a couple of weeks ago that Marvel Studios moving forward was going to change things, and they were no longer going to tell like the main Marvel story, like the story that pushes the entire MCU forward. They were not going to do that in the shows anymore. The way Jeff said it was, Vision, the Vision show, Vision Quest with Tommy Maximoff, that'll be the last time you get a major Marvel movie character that has a show. They will be referenced by the shows. The events of the MCU will be referenced by the shows, but the shows are essentially becoming truly ancillary. Well, you see, there's obviously a contradiction here. If what Alex is saying is true, then Jeff is wrong. But if the reason the show was put on hold was because Kevin said, we're not going to make this as a show anymore, we're going to make it as a movie, then Alex is wrong. And I think it's actually, in this case, more likely that Alex is wrong. Why do I say that? Because I think Alex is, and if you even read the rest of that Q&A, like I got a big video dropping later today about Magneto and Wanda. It's dope, man. Like you're gonna love that video. But within that statement, Alex is referring to something he heard, an older scoop. So to me, it just means there's so much changing at Marvel right now that what Alex is doing in these Q&As is just taking what he heard, which could be outdated information. If Jeff's scoop is true, that's a recent decision, which would sort of void the scoop that Alex has about it being a show. Does any of that make sense? Did any of that track? Do you understand what I'm saying, guys? I feel like I was just talking goobly glob for a second. What it means is I believe that Nova is really important. And I believe that Nova and potentially Annihilus will be a big part of the huge story for the MCU after Secret Wars, which will likely involve the Celestials, the X-Men, just crazy cosmic shit, like maybe Annihilus, maybe War of Kings, something like that. So I think that's absolutely true. it will either be a big show like Loki was, and Jeff was wrong because that's huge, or they really are changing it to a movie. Now, I got to say, man, I think you should change this to a movie. And maybe I'm just biased because I'm so over the Disney Plus shows. Like, man, I was watching Mobland again yesterday, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. Like, Disney Plus just can't touch this show. It's crazy. Having said that, Loki is one of the best things they have. But even then, it's like, how much would I revisit Loki? I'm not really sure. But, dude, you do a nice 2.5 hour long movie with Richard Rider, and it has, like, a nihilist at the end. Oh, man. Oh, man. I think that could be dope, bro. And I think Annihilus is such a big villain that he deserves big budget, big movie, like, crazy, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. This Nova story is really interesting. Again, Alex is we're talking about two scoopers that have great records. Both of them have had stuff before anybody else, but it is also just the case that Marvel is changing so much right now. I truly think they're in somewhat of a panic mode. I think they're recalibrating. And so I don't know. I don't know who's right in this situation. I'm leaning towards Jeff a little bit, though. I'm leaning towards Jeff. And I think it would be good to do it in a movie and to set up Annihilus as some big, crazy fucking threat, dude. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Okay. So I tell you what, I did have one other story, but I'm going to save it. I'll save that for a video. It had to do with, Madam Web and Tom Holland being in that. But I'll save that. We've been going for an hour and 22 minutes just yapping about stories. So let's get into that. Oh, what's this? Dude, get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? Okay, I'm pissed. I'm officially pissed off, okay? And I want to explain why I'm pissed off. It's not about... It is about the news. Hulk, Spider-Man 4. Yes, I'm so... fuck. I'm fucking mad, okay? I'm mad. Why am I mad? Last week, there wasn't a peep of news. There's no fucking news. Dead. Dead all week. We're doing streams talking about Galactus and shit, right? Like, I'm trying to fill space. There's no fucking news. The 1 week that I go out of town, the 1 week that I have to go figure shit out, I gotta leave tomorrow. I can't make all this content. Fuck. Jesus Christ. Okay, this is just the way she goes, I guess. All right, let's talk about this. Breaking news. Holy shit. It is cool. It is cool. All right. Exclusive. Mark Ruffalo is set to return as Bruce Banner in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Are you telling me Roka was right? Hey. Do me a favor, Nerdvengers. You know what we do over here? The right thing. So all of you, over 1,000 of you here, when you go to talk about this on social media, give credit to John Roca. Give credit to Roca. He was the only person that had this. All the other scoopers, Shine, Cryptic HD, Daniel, Alex, all of them laughed Roca out of the room. Let's read this. Exclusive. Mark Ruffalo is set to return as Bruce Banner in Spider-Man Brand New Day. What? And this is Nexus Point News. They're very accurate. Nexus Point News can exclusively report that Mark Ruffalo is set to reprise his role as Bruce Banner in Spider-Man Brand New Day. It is currently unknown what role Banner will play in the story, whether he'll also be portraying an alternate green persona. We can confirm Banner's appearance will be much larger than a cameo, and Ruffalo will have a substantial role in the film. Bro, what is this movie? Holy shit. Spider-Man Brand New Day will be Ruffalo's 10th appearance in the mainline Marvel Cinematic Universe. Project will be followed shortly by Avengers Doomsday. Oh my god, Avengers Secret Wars. Okay, so he was last seen in the Disney Plus show. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is crazy. Oh, man. Okay, let's go to Speculation Town. Take my hand. Take my hand, chat, as we go to Speculation Town here, okay? Again, as far as I know it, Roka's the only motherfucker that had this. He said it in the middle of a stream. It got swept out. I even talked about it on stream, but at that point, there's so many rumors out there, and a lot of these people are like, haha, yeah, right. Like, I'm dead ass. I'm dead ass, man. A lot of people were talking a lot of shit on John. It seems like he had this one, and it seems like he was the only one that had it. Wow. Okay. What could this be? Well, as it stands right now, there are multiple different ways this could be shaping up. If this movie is a prequel to Doomsday, which it kind of feels like it's going to be at this time, if it's a prequel to Doomsday, then it's probably just Bruce Banner as Professor Hulk, as Sony, remember, Sony has a deal with Marvel that when they make these Spider-Man movies, they get an Avenger, basically. So in the first one, I think it's Tony. In the second one, it's Nick Fury. In the third one, it is, the third one, it's like all the Spider-Boys, but it's Doc Strange. So that would mean that potentially Hulk, and this, you know what else was funny about this? I remember Snyder saying that passed the smell test. When Roka brought this up on the podcast, I think Snyder said that passes the smell test for me because they need an Avenger due to the contract. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. This would make sense in that regard. If it's the prequel, it's probably just Avenger version of Hulk. Now, that could be cool because that could potentially be Banner realizing that he needs to go dark. This could connect Sam Wilson's Avengers to the Spider-Man film, where like Bruce and Sam's Avengers are trying to recruit Spider-Man, but maybe Spider-Man doesn't want to be a part of the team anymore. He just wants to be friendly neighborhood. That could make sense. So if it's just a normal ass movie, Hulk being in it, cool. That tracks, makes sense, doesn't have to be too crazy, okay? But here's some other things that are on my mind. Number one, there were heavy rumors of World War Hulk. World War Hulk is still, to this day, the best chance of a Battleworld movie. If Spider-Man is a prequel and it's not a Battleworld movie, there is one date available, and that date is in 2027. It is July of 2027. And I strongly feel that Bob Iger wants another movie in 2027. And the best chance of any of the rumored movies is World War Hulk. There were also, I mean, dude, this is really weird. There were reports that there was a Hulk movie going into production this year. Was this somebody just saying Spider-Man now? Like, you see what I mean? Now I'm starting to, like, question everything, okay? Beyond that, Hulk is supposed to play a big role in Secret Wars. We saw the leaked concept art, which has Hulk, She-Hulk, and Scar in Battleworld garb. Scar has taken some arrows or whatever. We've heard a lot of rumors that the Maestro Hulk is absolutely going to be a thing. So is Maestro Hulk going to end up being the Hulk that's in Brand New Day? But if that's true, is Brand New Day actually a prequel movie or what? Like, I'm so confused. There were some people that told me that Spider-Man 4 could be taking place in a pocket dimension, and that after Spider-Man No Way Home, all the Avengers went into pocket dimensions, which could be nuts, right? That would be really crazy. I don't know if I believe that, but that would be really crazy. So, dude, what the hell? This is crazy, man. That is really, really wild news. I don't know what to quite make of that. I think we all want Hulk to rage out again. Is this how we get to Rage Hulk in time for Doomsday? Does this potentially solve the problems of Doomsday? Where now they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, now we're going to set something up with Hulk and Peter, which will really play well in the Doomsday film and potentially even play into Secret Wars. Dude. This is wild, man. This is wild. Holy. Man, oh man, that is that's pretty crazy. I mean, dude, Hulk, Spider-Man, Mr. Negative. Wow. Wow, wee wah. I think the bottom line is they're cooking something with Hulk, man. They are truly cooking something with Hulk. This is weird. And then technically, we don't even know if Spider-Man is going to keep its date. It looks like it will. Like, it looks like Spider-Man is going to keep its date for next summer. Wow. I mean, I want it to be Maestro. Dude. Oh, my God. But then it's like, if it's Maestro, it would just make sense if it's Battleworld. Although, Maestro could show up before any of that, you know? So technically, the end of Brave New World with the leader, that post-credit scene, right? Like, I've heard multiple things. I heard that could be setting up World War Hulk. I heard that's a direct setup to Doom. Maybe it's both. Maybe Maestro shows up in Spider-Man 4, and he's like the first crazy thing. I don't know, dude. There's no way they do Maestro in a Spider-Man movie. I mean, the damn shame of it is Peter David just died, right? Rest in peace to Peter David, comic book legend. And I believe he created the Maestro Hulk. I was thinking about that when I heard about his passing. I was like, damn, he was so close to being able to see it. Because we've heard a lot of rumors about Maestro. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I'll take it all the way back. I think the most conventional wisdom here, like the obvious thing, is it's just Professor Hulk. And you'll have Spider-Man and Professor Hulk hanging out. And that's a fun combo. You know, that could be cool. What the hell is this movie, man? What the hell is this movie? What are they cooking? Wow. Is anybody else talking about this? Are any of the scoopers out there saying anything about this? My God, that's a big old scoop. That is a big old scoop. That's crazy. Wow, wow, a wee wah. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow. Wow, wow. It says Bruce Banner. It says Bruce Banner. And they still think it's street level. Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it, guys. Right at the end of the show, some more breaking news. Let's break into Q&A now. Plenty of stuff for everybody to try to figure out here. My goodness, this is crazy. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's get into all the questions, man. I appreciate all the support, guys. I'll go over the member chats, the super chats, and then we'll hang in the chat a little bit as well. Mr. Lucky, first in today, 28 months, appreciate you, says hashtag Snorehammer, hashtag Ranch Vengers, hashtag Chicken Joshy, love you, Josh, LOL, Nerd Vengers for life, PS, 28 months. Appreciate you, man, thanks for all that, but because you said Snorehammer, you're banned forever, so it's been a good 28 months, and it's over now. Nerds Engage, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers, baby, you're a Nerd Venger once again. Anders Weasley. Anders says, not a fan of fake leaks. So who are your top/most reliable scoopers and insiders, and what is their estimated hit rates? I think the best people in the game are Alex Perez, Jeff Snyder, Daniel RPK, My Time to Shine, hello. Nexus Point News, Apocalyptic Horseman is pretty good. Lizzie Olsen is really good, but she doesn't really break scoops. That's like Alex does all that over there at the Cosmic Circus. Charles Murphy's really great, but he's kind of out of the scooping game, so he doesn't really do too much. There's people I talk to privately that are really good that used to be scoopers that are not anymore. So I would say that. And what's their hit rate? Probably like 70 to 80%. Alex has a very high percent. I think Alex is like close to 90%. He's gotten some big ones wrong, though. I mean, everybody gets stuff wrong. And the thing is, Marvel's always changing stuff, so it's hard to keep up with all that. But I mean, yeah, Daniel's really reliable. The problem with Daniel is he's gonna spin things. He's like he's either like a super far leftist, or he just likes to stir the pot with the way he reports stuff. Sometimes it's super weird. Shine is really accurate, but a troll. So, like, Shine did the Nev Campbell news recently. She damn well knew it was for X-Men 97 Season 2. She made it seem like it was for live action. So she's like a bit of a troll. Alex Perez is really good. The only problem with Alex is he gets overly excited sometimes and maybe draws too many conclusions too quickly. Famously, Alex got caught up with, like, the fake script for Deadpool and Wolverine, Jean Grey fighting against Wanda and stuff like that. Jeff Snyder's really good, but he doesn't know shit about nerdy shit. So, like, he gets shit all wrong all the time just because, like, he doesn't even know there are other Ghost Riders than Johnny Blaze and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's kind of like the TLDR. I'd say Shine is 50 and Daniel is 30. Well, luckily, there are actually people that keep track of this stuff, Ben. So there's some Reddit communities that actually keep track of this. And if you know anything about people on Reddit, it's like weaponized autism. So, like, they're really accurate. And the last time I checked, Daniel was like 70. I think Shine was right about there, too. And Alex was in the 90s. But to be fair, that was probably like 6 months ago, last time I looked. So, I don't know. John Johnston says, Thunderbolts suffers from bad past projects. Even if it isn't a commercial success, my hope is that it starts to build some fan trust back. Ultimately is a solid movie. Nerd Avengers for life. It's a tough one for me, man. I mean, look. How do I say this? I just think fandom has changed. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I think fandom has changed. Like, dude, like, take, for instance, the new Mission Impossible movie, okay? There are a lot of people that are complaining about Mission Impossible. Like, I don't know if you saw this, but there's some big-time reviewers, some big-time content creators that think it is the worst Mission Impossible movie ever. Okay? That shit doesn't matter. It is making buku bucks. It has the biggest opening out of all of the Mission Impossibles, and it will probably be considered a wild success. It also has an A cinema score. The reason I'm bringing this up is, like, it's starting to seem like the wider narrative is the one that matters. And it might actually be the case that it's not the best Mission Impossible. It might actually be the case that it's the worst Mission Impossible, and yet that will not be remembered. That's not even going to be talked about, like, tomorrow. It doesn't matter. So, like, when it comes to Thunderbolts, right? There's a lot of people like myself that are out there saying it's the best movie they've made in years. Okay? That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the same way that it doesn't matter that some people think Mission Impossible is the worst movie ever. Because what's the narrative of Mission Impossible? The narrative is smash hit, most money for a Mission Impossible opening. Tom Cruise killed it. So when it comes to Thunderbolts, it doesn't matter that many of us are going to be like, oh, actually, it's pretty good. What's the resounding narrative? Failure. Flop. Decline. Marvel falling apart. Like, I don't know. That's just the way I see it, man. Like, the way I see it, it's hard for me to look at your thing and say, even if it's not a commercial success, my hope is that it starts to build some fan trust back. What fans is this going to build trust back? It's the second lowest, maybe third lowest grossing film in the whole catalog. The only fans that saw it are those of us that, I don't know, do we trust them or are we just addicted? I don't even know. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I'm articulating this point well here, but, like, this concept that because it's a better movie, you will win some fan trust back? Well, why isn't it winning the trust back of the fans that could go see this motherfucking movie right now? Why is it not getting the trust back of the fans that took Deadpool and Wolverine to $1.3 billion? What trust is it winning back? The trust for us that already saw it, that we'll see the next one? We were already going to see the next one. Do you see what I mean? So, like, I don't know, man. I have a really hard time being like, you know what? Let's select the most positive element of this story and focus on that. Because I think that's just not how the world works. I don't think that's how the zeitgeist works. I don't think that's what's really going on with Marvel either. Having said that, I love the movie. Right? But I don't even think it would be conducive to content if I just came out here and talked about how much I love the movie each and every week. Because I don't even think that's... Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Shalami Leaner says with a 10 spot, hey, Josh, hope you enjoy your vacation. You deserve it. Oh, it's not a vacation. I'm going to be working. I really enjoyed your deep dive you did on Galactus last week. Can you do one on the Silver Surfer next, including the Planet X stuff? Have a great week. That's not a bad idea, actually. The difference, though, is I don't know shit about Silver Surfer in Fantastic Four. I mean, I know it's Shallow Bow. I know she's a female. I know there's some... Do you know what I mean? Like, we have substantial rumors about Galactus, so I was able to talk about, comic book Galactus and then also the rumors for the film. Can't do that with Silver Surfer. We don't know anything about Silver Surfer. You know what I mean? Joshua says, oh my God, I can't believe we share the same birthday. Wait, what? Really? For real, though, it's my birthday. Oh, I see. 35, feeling old. Wow, 35, huh? Fix your AC? Yeah, I probably should, huh? Speaking of that, it shut off earlier. See if we can get it back on here. Yeah, probably should. Anders said, what Doomsday plot leaks are most likely true with multiple collaborators? Is the Loki MacGuffin plot for the end of the movie chalk at this point? Well, I'm certainly not going to go over all of the rumors right now and tell you which ones are most likely, but the Loki thing is pretty likely. I mean, that's been something that was in, I believe, was in Kang Dynasty and now has just been changed to be a part of Doomsday. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to say. I mean, multiple really reliable people say that Loki and where Loki is at is where Doom wants to go. So that's what I can tell you. Chillin says, Sony and Marvel would be dumber than KK to push Spider-Man 4 out in 11 months. Spider-Man 4, moving to currently abandoned 1126 spot. Trust, Nerve Bench for Life, Take My Money, Basement Crew. Sony and Marvel would be dumber than K to push SP4 out in 11 months. What is SP4? Is SP4 Spider-Man 4? Out in 11 months. SP4 moving to currently abandoned. SP4 moving to the currently abandoned 1126 slot. Okay. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying there. The release date isn't until next summer, though. That is more than a year away. So if they start filming that soon, I think they'll be fine. Joshua says, Doomsday finna be wild. Let's freaking go. Dude, it is going to be wild. It is, and the thing is, I think it's going to be the movie we all want it to be. I think it's going to be the movie Marvel needs it to be. I think they're actually putting all the pieces together, and they will be fine. But that does not change the fact that where we're at right now is like, holy shit. Yeah, I know. Joshua says, I could def see Soups outselling F4, especially with normies. Yeah, I can see it happening. Alex says with a 10 spot, as someone who was also closing in on 40 and grew up on DC and Marvel, I always was more partial to DC comics. I truly believe Gunn is about to give us the DC I've been hoping for since childhood. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely people that have just leaned more DC. We've got a couple people like that in the community. I mean, I've liked a lot of DC stuff. When I was younger, I was more of a DC person. I like the Lanterns. I like the Justice League. Obviously, Batman is the best. But yeah, Marvel has a lot of fun stuff too. I really like Marvel. So it is kind of interesting, huh? Interesting how it flipped. I do think DC is poised to do something big and potentially be bigger than it ever has been before. We'll see. We shall see. Appreciate the support, Alex. Thank you, man. 34 Virgo says, personally, in my opinion, I don't expect a lot from FF4. The trailer hasn't done much to excite me. I think it will be between decent and good. B-, DC rival. What are you saying? DC rivals? Like you want a DC version of Marvel Rivals? That would be kind of wild. don't expect a lot from FF. The trailer has not done much to excite you. That's interesting. I think it looks really cool, but it could be the case. Like, here's, because it's interesting you say that, right? I've been wondering, how do normies feel about that shit? Because, like, if you're kind of over Marvel, if you're kind of over superhero shit, what does Fantastic Four have that would appeal to you? I almost feel like, man, I just don't know that it has anything beyond that. I mean, it's a cool science fiction movie or something, right? I guess we'll see. We'll see, man. I don't know. I'm nervous about Fantastic Four, man. Kalen J says, Peacemaker and Clayface won't save them. I mean, that's true. You know, like, look, I hate that part of the DCU. I hate Gunn's, like, addiction to his own shit. I think Peacemaker is so stupid. I want DC to take more of a mature tone. There's a lot of stuff I'm even nervous about Gunn's sensibilities with Superman himself. But all the projects without Gunn, I'm looking forward to more. So I actually hope Gunn does not write or direct anything else in DC, frankly. I think it would be better for the whole company if we got other voices, other people in there, other sensibilities. Like, are you telling me you would want... I guess I'd have to wait to see how I felt about Superman. But assuming Superman is, like, fun, but just a little too James Gunn for me, I don't want him to do World's Finest. No fucking way, dude. No way. I do not want that dude doing World's Finest. So... yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Shub says, if Marvel is smart, they need to stop holding back and announce crazy stuff at Comic-Con. They do not have the privilege of stalling for time anymore. Yeah, I agree. This that ties into a video I made yesterday where I explained one simple change that I think could really turn things around for Marvel. It's a big video. I get into a lot of details about just what's been going on. What are some of the past things that people have said about Marvel. There's this really interesting interview from 2022 with the Russo brothers where they're talking about Marvel becoming more conservative and going into franchise management mode. And I think that you can draw a connection between that and Marvel not going for it as much. And I think that was a big mistake. Doug Ditch says, with what you've said about Reeves' contract sitting with Warner, not DC Studios, do you think Zaslav has told Gunn he's willing to axe the Batman 2 if Superman smashes at the box office? No, I don't think that's what it is at all, actually. I don't know how much... I mean, look, I don't know the dynamics, right? I really don't. Gunn has his plan. Safran is supportive of the plan. They kind of came up with it together, creative business side together. Zaslav has like his desires, the things that he wants. And Zaslav's also thinking of different options. And yeah, I mean, if Superman were to bomb, I would assume Zaslav would maybe go in other directions or whatever, right? But I don't think he made a promise to Gunn like that. I mean, the promise is real simple. If Superman is a hit, you get to make more shit. You get to keep your job. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's what that is. Van Off the Black says, directing from home is wild. Johnny Favs is done. Yeah, now he might have been sick. He might have even had COVID. I still think it's pretty wild, though. When I heard it, I was like, that's funny. Yeah. Philip Hatch says, if Kevin brings DDL out at SDCC, would you take back the clout DC might get if Soups gets to $1 billion? Has DDL talk dropped off? No updates about that. And at this point, it looks like X-Men is getting pushed, so it becomes a little less likely to me. I don't think they're going to bring out any of the new X-Men at Comic-Con this year or next year at this point. Because it feels like X-Men is 2028 now with the delay for Secret Wars. And we have no idea what's going on with DDL. You know, they're obviously trying to get him. It would be an incredible get. We'll see. We shall see. Trembly says with a $10 holla, that Mando news is a bummer. Gonna wait for Disney Plus now. Have to choose cinema outings carefully now. Seeing the movie tickets are now upwards of $30 down here in Australia. Whoa, really? That is wild, man. I heard they were going to start doing more discounts at movie theaters. I think the prices are obviously a part of the problem. So, yeah, hopefully the prices drop a little bit for you. Anders says, breaking news, apparently Hulk will have a major role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude. That's crazy. Perez, thank you for a gifted membership. Joshua says, Ghost Rider greater than Nova. You know, I think so too, but we also just have not gotten great Nova stuff. Nova is cool, man. Richard Rider is a great character, so if done correctly, you might feel differently about that. Although, Johnny Blaze is pretty dope too. Hulk smash Bug Boy. Yeah, we can hope so, huh? Ethan said, Spider-Man in a pocket dimension with Wolverine and Hulk. Let's get OG AF. Oh, by the way, Nerd Vengers for life. Dude, that would be incredible. Dude, that would be incredible. Matt Connors, welcome back to the Nerd Vengers, brother. Appreciate you. Kalen says, most of the villains announced for Spider-Man 4 will have small roles. This can still be street level and Incredible Hulk with a Ragnarok-sized role. This could work. Oh, yeah. No, I can see the vision there. I definitely think it could work. That'd be cool. Hitting with Stick says, have you seen the current push for Battlefront 3? Dude, the Battlefront 3 thing is kind of incredible, dude. Did it really peak over 300K players? 300K? Is that true? Ugh. That's nuts, dude. 300K? And it hit highest peak on Steam yesterday with 18K? That's wild. Wow. Good for them. That's fun, man. Star Wars fans getting together to make a message, huh? That's cool. Oh, yeah. Hopefully the people take notice. Hopefully people take notice. Duggaditch says, given their past relationship, do you think Gunn has already shown Feige Superman? Do you think Feige has shown Gunn Fantastic Four? Or do you think they're both gloves off in full combat mode? Huh. It's a good question. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more about that. I mean, I think Kevin is just like so busy right now, but so is James. Maybe they did show each other. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Javier Mendez says, I love Space Marine 2. My first introduction to Warhammer. Started playing Bolt Gun after watching the presentation you showed us last week, and it's really fun. This converting us is working. Woo! Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Hulk is the main villain of the movie? Wait a minute. Was I not supposed to say that? Was I not supposed to say that? That changes things. Wait a goddamn minute. Spider-Man Brand New Way looking to create one of the biggest, if not the biggest, MCU stunt sequences. It'll take over a month to shoot and it will be practical. What is this movie, dude? What is this movie, dude? I think he's a villain, guys. I don't know if I was supposed to say that or not, but I'm pretty sure Hulk is the villain of Brave New Day. Dude, why did all this have to happen? I'm going out of town. I got a full fucking day. I'm trying to bank all this content so that I could go out of town. Oh, my God. Okay. All right. Fuck it. Holy shit, dude. This is crazy. Javier, dude, totally appreciate it, man. You know, it was funny. I thought that presentation was kind of mid, but even mid Warhammer is interesting. You know what I'm saying? I actually was kind of impressed that a lot of people are excited about Warhammer. Getting into it like I am, man. Dude, our Discord's going crazy. Yeah, I framed the poster. Yeah. Dude, our Discord's been going crazy. And I've been writing and editing a lot of Warhammer videos, but like, dude, Den of Nerds is just keeping me so busy that I haven't been able to publish any of them. But I've been working on a catalog because I'm bringing my Warhammer channel back. I got some dope videos planned, bro. And I've been recording, I've been editing. I mean, I am so into Warhammer right now. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm actually trying not to talk about it as much because it's just like, that's what's on my mind. That's what I'm really all about right now is Warhammer. I have fallen in love with the grim darkness, man. Perez says, Josh, you seem a little stressed out today. I hope you enjoy your travels, your NDA shenanigans. Can't wait to hear all about it. Take my money. Unite. I mean, I'm a little stressed out. I mean, I'm trying to do a lot because I'm going to be gone. Like, dude, 3 days out of the work week is crazy. And to be honest with you, I was thinking about it over the weekend and I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done this. But it is a really cool opportunity. I'm excited. And, I like New York City. It'll be fun. I'll do some work while I'm there. But, yeah, it's just kind of annoying that it's like right in the middle of the week, dude. Crazy. Did we talk about the CIA run Star Wars fan site yet? No, I don't know what that is. Can you send me a link? Andre Ware says, will T'Challa be recast at SDCC this year? Oh, I have no idea, brother. I haven't heard anything about that. I think you're getting a new T'Challa in the Avengers movies. Unfortunately, I think it is Toussaint. I think it's the child. Yep. Chillin says, Nexus Point News just dropped that Spider-Man 4 films late July. Admittedly, I was off by a couple of weeks, but that changes nothing. It's moving to November. Yeah, maybe. I don't think so. I do think, though, it's possible it moves to next July at this point. Especially if Hulk's the villain, then it's Maestro. Dude, look, I'm going to tell you like this. If Hulk's the villain, it explains everything. There is a Battleworld movie. It is World War Hulk. It is also Spider-Man 4. Like, wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that make all that shit make sense? Because otherwise, you've got Hulk as the villain, and then you're going to do a World War Hulk movie in the middle of all of this, too? Nah. He's got to be a teenager by now, right? How long until Wakanda? Well, they're going to pull him out of the multiverse or use some time travel shenanigans. I actually think it'll be a Toussaint from a different universe. I'm tired. Yeah, me too. Holy shit. Vandolph says, Kevin killing off the Krakoa storyline was a serious L. Would have been fascinating reason why we haven't seen the X-Men in movies. Why, Kevin? Why? Yeah, dude. I don't know either. I mean, look, they're trying a lot. I ultimately think it's tough for me because I really love Kevin. I really love Marvel Studios. But, like, dude, a lot of this just is ego, right? I suppose when you build the biggest thing in the history of pop culture just by numbers, like, yeah, you're going to have an ego. But, like, to have such an ego that you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to make the comic books kill off Miss Marvel in a Spider-Man book and then bring her back in the X-Men stuff. You know what? I'm going to kill the Krakoa era and then have a new X-Men launch right before I launch my rebooted X-Men in the MCU so it's better synergized. Like, there should have been people there that were like, I don't know about that. You know? So, it's tough. It's a tough one. Dude, this Hulk thing is blowing my mind, dude. This Hulk thing is blowing my mind. I'm hearing Hulk is the villain. Is it Maestro? Dude, if it's Maestro Hulk, can you imagine the tragedy, though? If they're legitimately building up for Maestro Hulk and Peter David just passed. Whew. Wow. Wow. That's tough. Okay, everybody. Hey, I got to get out of here. 2-hour stream today. Jam fucking packed. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You will have content out later today. Content out tomorrow. Content Wednesday. It might be a light day Thursday. I'll be traveling back, and then we'll have a big stream Friday. So we'll do a big show in the morning, and then we're going to play Marvel Rivals throughout the day on Friday. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully we can do some ranked together because I really want to grind ranked with some of you guys. And yeah, we'll have a good time on Friday. I will, I'll be on social media. I'll be on the Discord while I'm traveling and whatnot. If something really crazy happens, I'll just turn my phone camera on and make a little video from the hotel or something. And then I'll be talking about that on Sunday. And next week on Monday, I'll talk about the trip and everything. So it'll be good. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? I mean, I almost left. Almost left tomorrow on a jet plane and had a nice ass time, but no, they had to dump all the it's all the news. We get fucking dry ass news for 2 weeks in a row, and then they're gonna dump all the fucking news. Don't they know I gotta go? There's some bullshit, man. This is fucking crazy, dude. This is fucking crazy, bro. Fuck. Okay. Yep, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, won't we? Yeah, we always do. Figure it out. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day. Hope you're not running around like I am. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh, I'm going to be so mad if they confirm Maestro when I'm on the plane. I'm going to be like, hey, you need to land this plane right fucking now. Land this plane right now. Because I need to go live. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. I gotta go figure out. I know, right? And then I'll be on the 6 o'clock. All right. I gotta go. I gotta go figure out my life. What the fuck? Hey, do me a favor. Open up your third eye. And wash out your stinky butt. Butthole. I just want to be... I want to be crystal clear. I said butthole. Okay.